After months of explosive testimony, violent accusations, and courtroom chaos, Sean Diddy Combs has just dodged a life sentence. But don't start celebrating for him yet, because while Diddy walked out of that courtroom not guilty on the most serious charges, he's not walking out of jail. In fact, the judge just dropped a hammer that left even his defense team stunned, and it all ties back to something they admitted in court. Let's break down the shocking verdict, the charges that stuck, and why Diddy's legal nightmare is far from over. For weeks, Diddy's trial captivated the country. He was facing multiple charges, some so serious they carried the possibility of life behind bars. Prosecutors painted him as the mastermind of a sex trafficking operation. They brought out dozens of witnesses, including ex-girlfriends who described brutal violence, manipulation, and cross-state exploitation. It was the kind of case that destroys legacies, and it almost did. But when the verdict came in, the courtroom went silent, not guilty. On the most severe charges, the ones tied to racketeering, cleared. The trafficking by force or coercion, also not guilty. People gasped. Headlines lit up. Diddy had seemingly just escaped the worst. But there was a catch. While he beat the big ones, two charges stuck: transporting women across state lines to commit acts of prostitution. On paper, they sound less extreme, but legally, each one carries up to 10 years in prison, and the judge didn't waste any time making that clear. Diddy's legal team immediately filed for bail, hoping their partial victory would give him a chance to go home before sentencing. Instead, the judge slammed that door shut. Why? Because of what his own lawyers said during the trial. In an attempt to distance Diddy from organized crime, his defense admitted that, yes, he had committed domestic violence in the past, but no, that didn't make him a criminal kingpin. But that admission came back to bite. The judge cited it directly, pointing to Diddy's own legal team acknowledging violent behavior in his relationships as a reason to deny bail. In the eyes of the court, he wasn't just a celebrity with a controversial past, he was someone who posed a potential danger. Meanwhile, the public couldn't believe what they were hearing. Outside the courthouse, fans, critics, and curious onlookers had gathered in droves. When the not guilty verdict hit, people gasped. But when the bail denial followed just minutes later, the energy shifted instantly. Even those cheering a minute ago were suddenly confused. What just happened? Social media erupted. Half the internet saying Diddy got away with it, the other half saying he was being unfairly targeted. But almost everyone agreed on one thing. This trial wasn't what anyone expected. The most disturbing part? The stories that came out during testimony. Former partners described graphic incidents, some too intense for network coverage, from emotional torment to physical violence. It painted a picture of a man living two lives, one on stage and one behind closed doors. His lawyers never denied the abuse. They just argued it didn't rise to the level of federal crime. But for many watching, those details changed everything. So what happens now? Diddy will remain in that Brooklyn jail until his sentencing hearing on October 3rd. Some legal experts say he won't get the full 20 years. With good behavior and legal maneuvers, it could be significantly less. But for now, he's stuck, and his rap empire, frozen. This is a man who, just a year ago, was still performing, producing, and celebrating decades of musical dominance. Now, he's behind bars, his legacy in limbo. Because even though he beat the life sentence, the damage is done. His name is forever tied to violent abuse, shady conduct, and a courtroom saga that rocked the entertainment world. And whether he gets 5 years or 20, one thing's for sure: this isn't the last chapter for Diddy. It's just the most shocking one yet.